I got it! That was close. Yeah. The chills come thick and fast as voodoo and terror meet within an innocent-looking doll inhabited by the soul of a serial killer who isn't ready to die. From the director of Fright Night comes a clever, playful, and stylish thriller with excellent special effects and heart-pounding suspense guaranteed to scare. After 6-year-old Andy Barkley's babysitter is violently pushed out of a window to her death, nobody believes him when he says that Chucky, his new birthday doll, did it. Until things start going terribly wrong. Dead wrong. And when an ensuing rampage of gruesome murders leads a detective back to the same toy, he discovers that the real terror has just begun. The deranged doll has plans to transfer his evil spirit into a living human being. Young Andy. This DVD is 20 years old. I purchased this in 1999. Hey, some new images of the new Chucky have been released. Let's talk about it. It's a fucking shit show. What you think you see, what you think you hear, that's what it's about. Mood and atmosphere. No, it's fucking garbage. It's garbage. Mood and atmosphere. Now that I really like. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see. Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. So in this video, I just want to talk about those new images of Chucky that have, I was going to say dropped, but I think the right way to say it is have been revealed, because the images in and of themselves weren't necessarily dropped individually. They were revealed in 2 TV spots, I believe, and a behind-the-scenes featurette. Now, if you haven't seen them, just head over to the official YouTube channel for Orion Pictures, and I believe they are there. At least that's where I saw them. So, check them out if you have not seen them. Now, before I give you my thoughts, I want to just say this. This new Child's Play, of course, has been, some people are loving it, some people are hating it, some people are Don Mancini fans, some people are open to this new idea. So there's a lot of sort of variables at play. And a few weeks ago now, or maybe it was only a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, I'm so busy, things just kind of all jammed together. But they released this image here of Chucky. And I uploaded a video talking about this because this essentially was the first image we had seen of Chucky within the context of a scene in the movie. We've seen him obviously on posters and teaser posters and, a glimpse here or there in, the trailer. But this was sort of our real first good look at just the buddy doll, Chucky. Not being evil per se, real good, clear look at him anyway, in the context of a scene. And it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Now, I looked at it, and I said this in the video where I was talking about it a couple of weeks ago. I said, you know what? I saw it. I thought, okay, all right. Walked away, had some dinner, came back, looked at it again, and thought, you know what? I'm okay with this because I'm reminded that whether or not Chucky is going to actually work at the end of the day, and I mentioned this in that video, so it bears repeating here because of how vitally important it is, whether or not it's going to work is all dependent on a multitude of factors, not just the way he looks, right? There's many different variables at play that have to be firing on all cylinders that are going to dictate whether or not you buy into this new Chucky. Not just the way he looks. The way he looks absolutely is a big part of it, but it's not just that, right? We have to see, how does Mark Hamill's performance and voice, not just his performance, but whether or not we buy his performance and his voice against the backdrop of this new Chucky. How does the doll look moving through the space? I talked about that as well, right? Do I buy that this is, Chucky? Am I buying into this doll is really having this level of effect on all these people? Am I buying that this is a new version of there's so many things to consider rather than just looking at the doll and going yay or nay. Now, you can do that, of course, but I wanted people to remember those things, right? To take those things into consideration. And I talked about that then because I said in that video, we've yet to see Chucky in that classic, I think I did that exact face. And lo and behold, we now have some images, some glimpses of Chucky being more of the traditional Chucky that many of you know and love. And a lot of you have been messaging me this morning saying, oh, I love it, it's so great, oh yeah, this is cool, now that's Chucky, that's awesome. These are the same people that were messaging me saying that they hated the other picture. Even after I said, you gotta give it time, wait till, let's wait till something comes out and maybe, you gotta see it move this space, you gotta hear Mark Hamill, there's a lot of variables there, right? So I just kind of find that ironically funny. But anyway, so what do I think of them? Well, I'm one of those people that after that second trailer dropped, I didn't want to see anymore. I thought it has been brilliant how they have been handling the marketing of this movie. The marketing's top notch. They're still behind the 8 ball, but the marketing has been nothing but spectacular for this movie. So it's just been awesome. And you know me. I mean, less is more for me. And I would have preferred them not to reveal Chucky so clearly. However, I understand it from a business and marketing perspective in the sense that you don't necessarily, because you are behind the 8 ball, you don't necessarily want the first big reveal to be in the theater because of what's at stake. So you sort of want to get ahead of the curve, get ahead of the game, get it out there now so people have a little bit of what to expect because of how much is at stake, because it's a beloved property, a beloved character. I get that. I understand that. And you don't want to necessarily piss anybody off. You want them to be pissed off, for a while before they go see the movie, because maybe there's that leeway, that downtime where they can get all the pissed offness out of them and they're not getting pissed off immediately in the movie theater, right? So I think there's a bit of that psychological sort of tactic there. And I understand that. And I agree with that in its principle. But the movie nerd and horror nerd in me feels that I wish they wouldn't have done that, because I would have loved to have seen that big reveal just right there in the theater. But I will say that the way they are showing Chucky being Chucky, or those moments, are in quick glimpses. And if it wasn't for the era we were living in terms of it being 2019 and social media and the internet, where we can actually look at it and pause it and zoom in and brighten the contrast and, crush this and do that and all this kind of stuff. If this was 25 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do that, right? If this was a trailer to this movie, we'd see it on TV or in the theater and that was it. We'd go home. We had no access to it, right? We had no immediate access to it. So, it's just unfortunate that we live in an era now where those glimpses of Chucky don't really live in glimpses, because they live in glimpses in the trailer, but then people can stop and pause it and zoom in and crop and paste and go, and then we can look at it, and analyze it and I don't really like this or really like that. And it's kind of like, it's so unfortunate in some ways. But here are the images, because they look really cool. So these images are from 2 TV spots. Here's an image right here. So this is from one of the TV spots, and this is the Chucky that a lot of people had been waiting for. And this is what I said to you in the previous video that we hadn't seen yet. So just, don't make a full judgment yet. And a lot of people are looking at this going, okay, so it's still different. Loving the red eyes, it's still different, but this is more in line of what people know and love about Brad Dourif's Chucky. And this is the Chucky that you sort of have come to expect, but it's a bit different at the same time, right? I love this image. I think it's great. The eyes are probably CGI'd, but I'm loving the look. He looks mean, and he looks like he's ready for some serious fucking evil shit, and that's probably Andy's head there in the bottom sort of center left. That's probably his head. I would imagine that's it, but maybe not. Maybe that's somebody else's head. Maybe this is outside, and maybe that's the guy that was doing his fucking Christmas tree lights. Who knows? Here's another image here. Let me go to another one. Here we go. Here. So there's another one there. So cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm digging it. There has been nothing I've seen about this doll for me that makes me go, oh, this is bad. Like, this is garbage. This is holy shit. This is going to be nothing. Nothing. Even when I was like, okay, cool, okay, yeah, it's Chucky. I kind of see what you're doing. I've always reserved my judgment for the more details because, again, I understand that there's so many different variables that will make up whether we buy into it or not. And so far, this is one of the variables that had yet to be released that is now being released, and people are looking at it, and a lot of people are buying into it. So really cool stuff. Okay, and then there's this image here from the behind the scenes featurette. So this image I don't believe is in any of the trailers, but this image here is from the behind the scenes featurette. So really cool. I'm digging the eyes. I like how the eyes glow red. It's cool. It's a nice effect. And the look of Chucky doesn't bother me. I know it's going to bother the hardcore Child's Play fans. And no matter what they do, no matter how good he looks, you will always have that emotional attachment to Don Mancini's version of Chucky. And that's fair. That's fine. That's totally cool. But looking at this as objectively as I possibly can, removing myself from the emotional attachment I have to the first film, at the very least, because I think that's just an awesome, awesome film. I think he looks great. And yeah. Now, talking about Mark Hamill's voice, that we do hear a fair bit in this, in the new TV spot. It looks like it's hard because Mark Hamill is so in the pop culture consciousness that it's very difficult to distinguish Mark Hamill's voice at this very moment from Chucky. So when I hear Mark Hamill being Chucky in these new TV spots, I have to admit all I hear is Mark Hamill. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because we've yet to see the full 90-minute, 110-minute, however long it's going to be movie, and it's going to come down to his performance and the execution, whether we buy into it, whether we can get lost. It might take a couple of viewings, right? You might have to see it, 2 or 3 times to get lost into sort of the performance of whatever performance that is that Mark Hamill is going to do. At face value, I hear Mark Hamill, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. One other thing I noticed too was that when the Buddy doll is just being the Buddy doll and is talking normally, it's still Mark Hamill's voice, as opposed to it being somebody else's voice, like in the original Child's Play series when, you'd hear him go, "Hi, I'm Chucky, I'm your friend to the end." That was not Brad Dourif. So, it's interesting now that they're actually using Mark Hamill's voice for that as well. But that makes sense if you think about it, because this is supposed to be AI. So it's not, it makes sense that you would have it be somebody else's voice in the original series because it was supposed to be the soul of a dead serial killer inhabiting this doll. So obviously you need that contrast, right? Whereas with this doll, that voice is already locked and loaded and in there. And it's that voice, and that becomes, weird and crazy. So that makes sense to me, and that didn't bother me. But just a little bit of kind of an anecdotal little sort of observation thing that I noticed. So, yeah, so you know what? And again, Mark Hamill, he sounds fine, but he sounds like Mark Hamill. So I'm reserving my judgment. I'm like, okay, cool, all right. But as a professional voice actor, I know how these things go. I know the process. I know what he went through. I know what he was doing. I probably know what the direction was like. I know what the environment was like. So I'm reserving my judgment for the performance. I hear it and I go, yeah, I hear Mark because everybody knows what he sounds like and he's so embedded into our minds, right? Especially if you're, nerds like us. But I'm reserving my judgment to see sort of how it plays out in that environment. And maybe there'll be a couple more TV spots. Oh, there definitely will be, where we'll hear more of him and maybe see a bit more of that context. And we might go, oh, okay, I'm liking it, right? So slowly but surely, they're revealing little tidbits to us. But MGM, I really like what you're doing right now, keeping it at bay, subtle, kind of in the background. Don't give us too much. Less is more here. Less is more. I'm already on board. Less is more. So I'm liking it. I'm digging it though. I'm digging it. It feels good. It feels like a new iteration of Chucky, fresh, old, but new. It's a nice balance. That's what I want to say. It's a nice balance to me. Anyways, folks, my name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. Have you watched the 2 trailers? Did you watch the behind the scenes featurette? What do you think now that they've released in glimpses, what is supposed to be glimpses, of what we can expect from Chucky becoming Chucky? And remember, this might just be the tip of the iceberg. Maybe he gets even more crazy and more intense. Who the hell knows, right? You know, that's not necessarily the extent of the evil that we're seeing. That just might be a level that he's on, but maybe he goes even further. So anyways, comment below and let me know your thoughts. I would love to know. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. That's where I tend to post in the meantime and in between time, and I'm not posting here. All the links are in the description. So yeah, this is a great movie. I'm telling you, it's a great movie, and I'm very excited to see what they do with this new iteration of Child's Play. I suspect it's going to get mixed reviews. That's what I think. Mixed reviews. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.